And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for part 2 of America's favorite game show. Guess the prices of EDC Las Vegas 2024 for drinks. We're welcomed by my regular co-host Mike Deacon. Mike, how you doing tonight?
Mike?
I am having a connectivity issue. I'm going to come right back.
Ooh, that's a great way to start it off. And Moose, how are you doing as we're abandoned by Mike in the middle of our cold open?
I feel like this is like staged. Like you guys are going to pull something on me right now. Like you're going to drop off and it's just going to be me like dead on air here.
Honestly, as much as I
fucking do it.
The case, it's not. That was 100% improvised. Great job, Mike. Mike, are you back?
I'm back.
All right, so it's time for that game of Guess the Prices for Drinks at EDC 2024 Vegas. We're going to start off with America's favorite drink, Jake Yacovetta's favorite drink. How much was it for a 6-pack of Bud Light at EDC 2024?
Okay, so a 6-pack of standard 12-ounce cans?
Yes.
I'm going to say $25.
Okay.
I'll raise it and go $50.
You're both incredibly fucking wrong. It was $140. Let's get ready to play, gentlemen. Our next one will be one 750 milliliter bottle of Grey Goose vodka.
$975.
I'm going to say $600.
Moose, you got it to the dollar. I cleared before this, baby. So you guys hadn't seen it, and you got it to the exact dollars. $975 for a bottle of Grey Goose at EDC.
I mean, when I heard when you clarified the cost of Bud Light, I was like, okay, this is I'm gonna throw out astronomical numbers. That's awesome.
Okay, so a 1.5 liter bottle of Dom Perignon Brut.
Oh,
let's get a little crazy with it.
1,500.
3,000.
$3,450.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Okay, now here's the fun one for the last one. Second to last one, our penultimate question, gentlemen. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the price of Macallan 12, which is $12.50. Macallan 12, reasonably priced compared to the rest of this menu.
Right?
How much is a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue?
5,000.
$12.50 for Macallan. So yeah, shit. 6,000. I'll go one above Mike.
$22.95. That was my big surprise.
All right.
And we got one more. How much is a 6-pack of bottled water if you're going to an electric music festival?
$50.
75.
$90 fucking dollars.
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
It's 2 minutes for roping. I like that. You're a jabroni.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday night. It's What the Show, and just still thinking about that. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is AJ Lancaster.
And I'm here from Pleasure Island, my buddy Coconut Pete.
Okay, Mike, you've been obsessed over this movie. So, in honor of me coming on, I put it on in my office while I was working today, and I watched it before I came.
Yes. So, as you can see, I'm flying solo tonight. We're going to get back in Club Dread in a minute. Bethany happens to be in Sweden right now, so she's in a very different time zone. It is pretty late at night for her right now, so she should be back next week. And Juice is actually at a coworker reunion of his, so this is going to go wildly unhinged tonight with the three of us.
Perfect.
And you all, everybody knows, no introduction needed, Mr. Mark Haas, one of our favorite guests of all time, always on the always welcome list, regardless if he's scheduled or not. He can just crash whenever he wants to too. So welcome back, Mark.
Hello, boys. Good to be back. I love coming and hanging out with you guys. Seriously, we could just jump on a stream at any point in time and pick up where we left off. So Thank you for having me on. It's great to be back. I gotta know why Club Dread?
All right.
Like, why is this the movie that you have on repeat view when Bethany is out of town?
This is like a multifaceted answer, but I'll streamline it as much as possible. I discovered that the soundtrack was on Spotify one day, and we were on our way to the movies, and I just randomly put it on. It doesn't say that it's music from Club Dread. It just says Bill Paxton as the artist when you pull it up.
Yeah, okay.
So she's listening to the first song I play, and then she's like, "There's another one." She's like, "All right, I got a bite." So she finds out that this is the movie. I find out she's never watched it. So we do a stream on here. At the time, it was not streaming anywhere. It was rental only. So we came on here that week, which was 2 weeks ago, and we're talking about it. And then all of a sudden, the very next day, Tubi puts it up. So we, of course, had to watch it. And Bethany went out of town, and this is kind of a running gag between us. The first time that I left town after we'd moved to Georgia, she kept on putting on Pirates of the Caribbean at night to go to sleep. And she normally does not like background noise. She usually, like at home when I'm there, she just wants silence and everything. But so she's on the phone with me, and she's like, "I think I'm going to get a wellness check from Disney Plus." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, I've watched Pirates of the Caribbean 4 nights in a row," and like just picking up from where she fell asleep. But so I was like, "All right, I'm gonna one up you," and I watched Club Dread 6 times in the past 4 days.
And this is to say too. Then the next day I was like, well, I'm gonna watch Club Dread on Tubi as well. Now I usually, if I'm rewatching a movie, I will just watch it on my phone. I'm a single guy. I just hang out in bed, watch the movie. Tubi on mobile, you get an ad literally every 3 to 5 minutes on Club Dread. So I bought it digitally. I spent the $5. I've now seen it twice in this time period. After having not seen it for about a decade. So this is a thing. We're a Club Dread program now.
Did you happen to feel like your story with Tubi right there puts Tubi square on your villains list for next year?
Tubi was on the heroes list one year.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
It was the year before last, yeah.
The year they did the Super Bowl commercial that made everybody think that the TV went rogue.
Oh, yeah.
We put them on the heroes list for that. Did either of you see Club Dread when it was in theaters, by the way?
I did.
Yep,
I did. Oh, man, I saw, because after Super Troopers came out, I was like, Broken Lizard is the next greatest thing. And
everyone was.
Yeah, so went and saw Club Dread in theaters. Saw Dukes of Hazzard. Saw Beer Fest. Beer Fest then inspired the Haas Games, which every year I used to host a drinking games tournament based on the Beer Fest movie. For my 40th birthday last year, we brought back the Haas Games for one night. I did not win a single event. But like, they had their time. They had their like 5 or 6 years where it was like, these guys were the funniest dudes. And then it was like after Beer Fest, wasn't there like a smoking salmon movie?
Slammin' Salmon, which is on Tubi and actually tries to autoplay every time I finish Club Dread. So I did watch it once. I did watch it once.
What?
Had moments. Had
Was it
its
Michael
moments.
Clark Duncan in that one?
Yes, he's the
Oh.
he's the boxer / owner of the restaurant, and again, there are laughs in that movie, but it's not. I wouldn't put it with the other three. And then there's
Is that the Blue Curacao movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, then I have seen that. Yeah, where they keep making the like rookie take a shot of the blue carousel. Yeah,
Every
good
time he
call.
messes up.
It's the only funny bit in the entire movie. It's a
Did either
great
of you
bit.
see Super Troopers 2?
I saw it in
No.
theaters, regrettably.
Is it any like? Is there any redeeming qualities?
All right, will you get some chuckles? Yes. Is it even remotely close to the first one? No.
Is it Zoolander 2 bad?
No, it's not that bad. It-
Okay, so Zoolander 2 should be the live stream movie for last place in the Fantasy Football League this year.
Fuck, that's gonna be
Or
me.
Joe Dirt 2. Or Joe
We're gonna
Dirt
get
2.
to that in just a second. But the thing with Broken Lizard, though, as I was like going down the rabbit hole and stuff, do you know how many TV episodes that Jay Chandrasekhar, how do you say his last name, Chandrasekhar, his TV filmography for episodes directed is absolutely insane.
Including
Nick-
the worst episode of Community.
Yeah. Well, he was also on Community in the last season that he performed in it as the canceled comic.
Yep, that's the episode.
I gotta look him up here.
Chandra
Like-
Sekhar, by the way.
Chandrasekhar, yeah. So he's like, you name
Oh wow, he was Arrested Development,
yep, he did a lot.
Cracking Up. I remember Cracking Up.
He did the Undeclared, he's done Community, he's done
Psych, Chuck.
Yeah. like his
Community.
filmography is thorough.
New Girl, The Goldbergs. Damn, this guy's really gone at it, huh?
A
Yeah.
lot of the Goldbergs, if I remember right. Like a startling amount of the Goldbergs, if I remember.
23 episodes. Yeah. Holy cow.
So he's done well for
He did 2 Mighty Ducks Game Changers
right.
episodes.
Mhm. It was season 2, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, the whole thing was just kind of I love to take a joke, run it into the ground, dig it back up, bury it again, re-dig it back up. That's my kind of humor.
And then punch it to death with your bare hands.
Nice.
And the funny thing is like nobody gets why I'm doing this, and you just randomly see me put on Twitter while I'm watching Club Dread again.
But you know what? God bless Bill Paxton. Like,
yes.
Bill Paxton was you know what? I'm going to show up and earn a paycheck. I'll take any role that comes my way. Like, let's go.
That role, he took that role with gusto too. Like he dove into it. Like
He did not half-ass that role.
He did not have
Some
He
people
did
could
not,
say
no.
that he showed his entire ass.
Oh, like what? There's a very subtle scene in the movie that I think is like one of my favorite Paxton moments, where he's on there on the beach the morning after looking for stuff, and he's in the water. He's got his guitar around his neck, and he just takes his hat off, has a bottle of rum, and he pours it on the hat, and he's like, "Farewell." And then he gets hit
Well,
by
yeah,
a-
he's saying goodbye to like his chief of security. Yeah.
just the way he said, "Farewell."
And he gave us a few of the like classic, like, game over, man. Like kind of
Yeah.
Bill Paxton moments. And yeah, I did not phone it in. Bill Paxton's still gone too soon.
Bill Paxton, both Bill Paxton and Coconut Pete are both likely going to be on the heroes bracket next year.
They should go against each other first round.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, I've never seen them both in the same place at the same time.
That's true. Have you?
Nice.
The other thing we're bringing up the heroes bracket, I watched today. I got home from work, and obviously I've had some free time. Bethany's not home. I watched the whole 4-hour Jenny Nicholson video about the failure of the Star Wars Galactic Cruiser. Holy shit! I mean, it's 4 hours. It's a lot to undertake, but wow, is this thing a colossal disaster?
This is 1.5 Dune 2s.
Yes.
What did you watch 4 hours of?
So the Star Wars Galactic Cruiser was the thing that they had in Disney World. It was the on the space cruise that you took.
Oh,
So
yeah. Okay.
it was like it technically is marketed as a hotel. It is and it isn't, but like the things, it had an astronomical cost to it. Like just getting in was several $1,000s. And when you're in there, there were a few things that she went over that were like, okay, that seems kind of cool. And then other things, it's like, I just spent $3,000 to look at an Atari screen. Like,
Yeah.
that bad.
It was 5,000's minimum for a cabin, and that's to sleep like 2 or 3 people.
I think it was 2 people.
Yeah.
I think she said the advertised starting price, which this is something I'll get into in a sec, I think was $4,400, but you couldn't book it on your own on the website. You had to call and speak to an agent, tell them the weekend you wanted, and then they would develop a quote for you. So you couldn't even go through looking to see where is that cheap date.
Wow.
Yeah. Because
where's this documentary that
it's on YouTube. Jenny Nicholson's channel.
Okay. Yeah, you got me interested.
Yeah, I was saying to AJ, I think she put more work into this video than Disney did into the Star Cruiser.
Sure, yeah.
Like I think the 3 of us could put together a competent Star Wars hotel like business plan.
Yeah,
Put us in a room for a week.
Plan? Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
But let's talk.
Our bellhops are all Chewbacca themed, right? Like,
there we go.
That's just gotta be a thing. Like, I mean, most of us, like, I don't know about you, like, I can take my own luggage up to the room. Like, I understand that there's people, I always tip them if they bring the luggage up, but I'm always like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I could do it myself. But if there was a Chewbacca following me with my luggage, that fucking guy's getting a good tip.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Have you heard the story about when AJ and I stayed? Well, the whole What the Show crew stayed at the hotel with the robot as the what would you call them?
Was it like a bartender?
Concierge.
Like concierge / bellhop. So if you were to call, like they had everything done that you could text, and we'd be like, "Hey, we need more cups. Send the robot." We did that so many times.
We got so many plastic cups that weekend.
So this robot shows up and brings you guys cups?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Now imagine that robot was R2-D2. Just you have to paint the thing. That's all.
Give me 1 sec. I'm going to pull up. We do have a video of them.
C-3PO bartender. Come on. This guys, Disney, look here. Come on. Your next big idea for Star Wars lies with this 3 right here.
Just give us $1 million.
That's it.
You've already lost hundreds, originally on this whole concept.
Solo cost you more than it will cost us to make this hotel.
Yeah. Give us $1 million right now.
Today.
All right. I'm going to pull up my masterpiece. Relay. Did I take a 3-second clip from what was originally a 5-minute video and turn that into a 10.5-minute loop? Yes, I did.
And he's watched it many times since Bethany left town.
Oh, that video though actually has I'm like, why does this one have over 100 views? Why?
That's just his alarm clock in the morning. Relay.
That video was taken probably at I'm gonna guess 1 a.m, if not later.
Oh, at least 1. I think that was probably 2 or 3. We were blitzed.
Yeah, that was the
where
night
was
that
this? Was this Vegas?
That was at Universal Orlando. They have a hotel called Aventura, which is everything's supposed to be modern and high tech. So that's one of their gimmicks. There is they have the robot that can bring you stuff. So we tried the first day we were there. It was just me and Juice there at first, And we knew about the robot. So I called downstairs, like, we need more towels. And they sent an actual person. I'm like, let's try this again. And I start the texting thing. And I'm like, and I put at the bottom, send the robot.
Love that.
Apparently,
I think the only
there's-
like robot interaction I've had visiting cousin Ryan one time, we went to a bar where the bartender was a robot, and you had to like there was like a select amount of like drinks that you could make that the robot was capable of making.
Right.
And when he came, and cousin Ryan was crafty, and he picked like a, give me an old fashioned, something that required, good touch. And my wife was like, take a pina colada. Now like comes to me, I'm like, gin and tonic. I panicked, like ordered like a super basic drink for the robot to make.
Well,
what-
I mean, the robot was probably panicking too. Like, you have to make it old fashioned. You're a fucking robot. Yeah,
It probably has like the old fashioned programmed in. It's like gin and tonic explodes. Like, what's that?
I'm like, wait, with a pinch of lime, please. Short circuits.
non sequitur.
That sounds like some Futurama shit right there. All right, so based on this is one of the reasons we wanted to have Moose on tonight. We're going to talk about Moose's colossal failures in the What the Show fantasy football draft game. So, again, as a recap, I'm sure everybody who's watching right now knows this, but our fantasy football league, instead of just picking numbers, we get assigned movies. We pull the names out of the hat and get assigned a movie, and then the draft order is based off of the box office. I'm going to just go real quick over the current standings because we had 5 movies that have come out. Moose is currently in second place, by the way. We have Chance in first with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Moose is in second with The Fall Guy. Larry Payne is in third with If. Justin the Juice is in fourth with Tarot. And AJ is in fifth with Back to Black. Now, we had an extreme optimism for Moose when we pulled the movies out. We're like, you got The Fall Guy.
Huge. I thought so last year I had The Machine.
We knew you were getting 14th.
Chrysler, a Mark Hamill. Like, as soon as, and I was brand new to the league. I was my first year being invited. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to pitch a fit. I'm going to take it. And then the day of the draft, you guys were like, oh yeah, by the way, you can take 2 quarterbacks. And it's like, oh shit. Like, so, if you have last pick in the draft, you're getting Kenny Pickett. And if you've watched the villains bracket, you know that I wholeheartedly agreed that Kenny Pickett is a villain.
Yes.
But then this year I was jacked. I was like, dude, Fall Guy is going to be like the 3rd highest grossing movie of the year this year. Like, Gosling's
That's actually
hot.
where I put it. I put it third.
Yeah, I'm like, Gosling is hot. Like, this movie looks like like the buzz on it is really good. Like, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. And then
Nobody saw it.
Yep, nobody saw it.
And
it's a good
I
movie.
just rented it on VOD.
Yep. And then it
Right
got
now.
released. Yeah. Then it got released yesterday on VOD.
2 weeks, 2.5
Enjoy it,
weeks after
AJ. It's a good movie.
It's a fun movie. It's a really fun, like AJ and I were discussing types of movies that are for me and movies that are not for me. The Fall Guy is a movie that is for me. Like, I love a movie like that. That's very lighthearted, fast paced, a lot of action. That keeps my attention more than a lot of other movies do. But like the failure at the box office, and after we saw the report, Bethany and I were talking like, Moose did this. This is Moose's fault.
This is my fault. Bethany's going to kill it this weekend though with Furiosa. Like, who has Deadpool and Wolverine? Oh, that's going to be the highest grossing movie of the year.
So
But
I
once
don't know.
again-
So I think it's going to have the highest grossing weekend, 100%. I just don't know if either of the cartoons will outleg it.
Which cartoons?
Despicable Me 4 is going to make money. And Inside Out 2, I didn't think at first would, but if it's good, that I don't know if the backlash against Pixar is going to really go against Inside Out, though.
I think Deadpool is going to make well over $1 billion.
Worldwide, yeah.
Yeah, worldwide. So I definitely think Deadpool's going to be the champ of the year. I think Inside Out is gonna do big chunks of money. I think every weekend.
Right, it's gonna leg out.
I don't know about the Despicable Me franchise. Like, this is 4 movies in. There's been a couple of the Minions movies. Like, I feel like that IP is a little bit played out. But I mean, Kung Fu Panda 4 killed it earlier this year. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe.
it's got the 4th of July weekend too as its opening. So I mean, that's a primo weekend. I like those 3 movies are like the safest ones. I think. I also thought King of the Planet of the Apes was a quote unquote safe movie, and it's proving to be that. Like, you know, there was a pretty high floor for that one, whereas a lot of these other movies like Bad Boys right now, you could tell me is going to open to 15 million, or it's going to open to 80 million. I'll believe either. Yeah, I don't. I just don't know.
I hear all of these movies, and none of them combined are going to touch the box office gross of Twisters.
Twisters
is picking up momentum. It really is.
Yeah. AJ, I'm going to say it again. You're coming on the Extra Movie Butter podcast to be our reviewer for Twisters, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
No, I already took that Monday. You guys record on Mondays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I took that Monday off of work, so that's good. I also took that Thursday off of work. To
see it,
I'm seeing it probably 3 times on opening day.
Nice.
I'm going once, first showing Thursday morning, and then I'm just gonna YOLO it in the theater, just hang out and see how the day takes me. I'm planning on up to 3.
When is the last time either of you actually watched Twister?
About it was like a month and a half ago.
Oh, so I think I was still on VHS the last time I watched it.
Yeah,
so,
it's been more than a decade for me for sure.
We are planning on doing a watch along of Twister prior to because I think that's kind of at this point for what's still to come out this summer, the most what the show movie of the summer is like. That's the one that like we collectively are kind of like, you know, go Twisters, you know. So we're probably going to do a watch along at some point of Twister. Moose, you are more than welcome to join that one.
I would also say that you should invite Benny to be a guest on that as well.
Absolutely.
That's like one of Benny's all-time favorite movies is Twister.
Absolutely.
Every once in a while I'll look up lines from Twister and just throw random, you know, side characters lines out to see if he knows them, and he picks them up every time. So
it's so good. It's one of the greatest terrible movies ever made.
It's so self-aware, like, and in the best way. Like, they're not like hamming it up, but they know what movie they're in. Like,
once again, our boy Billy Paxton, the Paxtification of what the show tonight.
He's a hero. He is a hero. He's going on the heroes list, but so is Coconut Pete.
Do you think it, like, AJ, let me ask you your predictions about Twisters. Like, is there a legacy like of some sort? Like, is there a Paxton daughter in there? Is there a Paxton son? Is Glenn Powell, you know, the son of Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton's character?
I think they're going with Glenn Powell tying back into Bill Paxton's character in some way, because he's in it for the money and the fame. He's not in it for the science.
Somebody has to have some sort of relation. Like, it could be like, I'm a third cousin. Like, there's some blood relation with one of the main characters to them. There has to be.
There's got to be, right?
It's got to be Glenn Powell, and just like he's not about what his dad was about, you know, that kind of thing. He's got to find like his father's legacy. I think that's the thing.
I want to know, like, the casting director of Twisters, though, like the past couple of movies I've seen Glenn Powell in, it like it seems so like obvious at this point that this is like the perfect role for a Glenn Powell. But like, this got cast several years ago. If I'm not mistaken, it was before Maverick even came out. So like, his name was out there, but he wasn't like. They must have had some kind of inclination that like Maverick was going to come out and he was going to be like the breakout star of the movie, because he was announced for Twisters before that came out, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they like, if you know the story behind Top Gun Maverick, like they were like 60-70% of that movie done, and Cruise was like, we can't have this come out like in 2020. We can't have it, you know, we got to move. Absolutely. I mean, if you know the story, like Steven Spielberg met up with Tom Cruise like at a movie premiere and was like, "You saved Hollywood." So So I think word was out from what they had of that filming that like, hey, there's this guy, this guy Glenn Powell, he's gonna be something special. Like I could remember seeing him in Hidden Figures in 2017, you know, and but then I was like, he's kind of vaguely familiar, but there's that group of like Anya Taylor-Joy, Florence Pugh, Austin Butler. You know, there's this like the next big like stars that we're starting to see right now, and I think Glenn Powell's like right there with the rest of them. Like he's gonna be that next big star, and yeah, Twisters is gonna be such a perfect like summer blockbuster movie just to catapult him forward.
Okay, so Mike, do you remember the first time you saw Glenn Powell in something? Because I remembered where I saw him first recently. It's wild.
Off the top of my head, I don't. What was yours?
I remember him as Chad Radwell in Scream Queens.
Wow.
You guys watch Scream Queens ever?
I didn't know.
I mean, once.
Yeah, it was a wild role. It was like a douchebag frat boy playing it as like as R-rated as possible for Fox network television. It was so good. And it was just like when I like they showed replays of it, and it's him and I can't remember which one of the Jonas brothers. I think it's Joe. No, I think it's Nick Jonas.
Oh my gosh.
Nick Jonas was a gay frat boy who's deeply closeted and in love with Glenn Powell. And it's just like this whole thing, like, oh my God, that was a thing.
I wonder if our guy Taylor is still tuning in, because Glenn Powell's first acting role was in Spy Kids 3D Game Over. He was the long-fingered boy.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
I remember seeing the screenshots of him. I don't remember him specifically from the movie, but
he would have
that
been
was a thing.
Probably about 10 years old at that point. So maybe even younger.
Discovered by Robert Rodriguez.
Have either of you watched Anyone But You?
I've not. I've seen clips and I couldn't.
Pops up every day on my movie channel. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
It's on Netflix now too. But like Bethany and I went and saw it, and it's like the movie itself without him is like your Hallmark Channel, rom-com, but like his charisma like carries that movie. If he wasn't in that movie, it wouldn't have been a fraction of what it was. Sydney Sweeney is fine in some scenes, but she's not the one carrying that movie. It's Glenn fucking Powell just being like, hey, I'm Glenn Powell. And then that's what's carrying the movie.
Oh, and the general vibe of it reminds me of the Matthew McConaughey rom-coms, where it's just like
that's a good comparison, actually.
Kate Hudson, great actress, but that was not her best work. Like
a Fool's Gold. Is that what you're?
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh,
that's where I was going.
Right.
Yeah, not her best work, but she's a great actress. But Matthew McConaughey got all the charisma.
I feel like that movie was successful because you have like the two people with just the like most unobtainable like beauty and body like in the world, and it's like, hey, we're just gonna display them for you in skimpy clothing. Come see this movie, and it did well. Like it made a lot of money.
It's crazy how they literally, because he's starting to do preliminary press for Twisters, and he literally said that they were offered more money from some of the streaming services to put it on Netflix or Amazon Prime from the get-go. And they fought back saying that, like, we know we have something that will get buzz if we go. And he's right. Like, how many movies have come out to Amazon Prime or Netflix or something, and for like 2 or 3 days has a ton of buzz, and then you never hear of it again?
Right. Mm-hmm. It's all the time.
Apparently, other people quit talking about the Jake Gyllenhaal Roadhouse movie. Like, I don't get why you quit talking about it, but it's fine.
That's not, they fucked up not putting that in theaters. They could have made their money back.
It was so good.
Oh God, it's so bad. Okay, if I come last place in the What the Show Fantasy Football League, I will go on a live watch with you guys of Roadhouse.
I still haven't watched it, but maybe that's something I should do.
How sober I will be during that? I mean, probably not much. That movie is terrible. Oh, it's so
But
like
it's bad good though. Am I wrong? It is enjoyable.
that's kind of where JT and Benny were kind of lying too. Like we were all like, this is a terrible movie, but like it is entertaining. Like I think at the end of the movie, my wife was like, the movie was awful, but it's entertaining. Like there's a lot of action in it. The first like 25, 30 minutes of the Roadhouse movie, I was like, I'm all in. Like, this is great. I like, wow, this is such a different twist. This is going to be so much fun. Gyllenhaal looks like he's having a good time. And then it's just like,
then Conor McGregor shows up.
Yeah, Conor McGregor with that shit-eating grin on his face the whole time just goes, so
the perfect way to relay this is, Mike, the ADR in this movie from Conor McGregor's lines can only be compared to one other film in the history of cinema. The ADR in this movie is on the same level as Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yes! You might have just sold me on this, so I might have to watch this.
It is not equal to, it's not greater than or less than, it is equal to.
Nice. I do
agree with you guys, though. I do think that Roadhouse would have made money in theaters.
Oh, at least opening weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know what the production budget of it. I know that streaming has a weird model that they are able to make money if they don't do it theatrically. But that seemed like the kind of movie, like, I know it went to Amazon. Amazon did put some of their movies in theater. Like Air was Amazon. The Late Shift was that's the one with Minnie Kaling. That was Amazon. Like they do put some of their movies into theaters. They usually don't get long runs. But why didn't you put that in theaters for 2 weeks like Glass Onion did? Glass Onion was a giant mistake by Netflix. That should have been in theaters for a while.
Huge mistake. Yep.
I did. We made sure we saw it in theaters. But the Glass Onion, I don't know anybody who watched that movie and didn't like it. And like,
love that.
That thing could have had such legs, and they cut its legs in 2 weeks because they were putting it on Netflix. And it's like, you probably lost at least $20 million by cutting its legs off.
That character of Benoit Blanc, Daniel Craig's Benoit Blanc, is one of my favorite. Yeah, it is. I can't wait for the next one. I hope they do 10 Benoit Blanc stories. Like, it's my new favorite, like, detective in movies. Easily better than like Hercule Poirot from freaking Death on the Nile or whatever, those series of movies. Yeah, I could tell he loves that role too. I think everybody can tell he loves that role.
Knives Out was my favorite movie the year it came out, and I think I like Glass Onion even more.
There's so much subtlety.
Agree.
Like the movie where they make Benoit Blanc, out as gay. My favorite part of that movie is before the scene where they show Hugh Grant. Which favorite is a great cameo, by the way. My favorite subtle joke is when they're shooting everybody with the COVID thing in the mouth, and everybody like chokes on a gag, so he just like swallows it and moves on. You go back and it's like, oh.
They got
so many subtle gags. Ooh,
it's so good. Yeah, he's having a blast. He's like, "Are you not in the bath again?" Are you? He was like, "No."
The other one is the guitar where George Harrison wrote Blackbird on it.
Oh, he just
George Harrison was left-handed. It's a right-handed guitar.
So I was going to bring this up a second ago because you're talking about Roadhouse and that. We're in a long-standing chat that goes back to the Schmodown days from when the Team Action was around, and there's a group chat that started around then, and they're not really part of it anymore. But one of the guys in that chat, his name's Patrick Gibson. When Argyle comes out, he sees it, and his review made me want to see it so bad. He's like, Argyle is fucking terrible, and I loved every minute of it. I'm like, you just sold me. And I saw the movie, and he was fucking right because I had so much fun with that awful movie.
Oh, I wanted that movie to be so much better.
It's terrible. But if you steered into it like halfway through, if you're like, this is fucking ridiculous, let's just see what happens.
I love Bryce Dallas Howard. was psyched to see her kicking ass. I love Sam Rockwell. Like anytime we get Sam Rockwell kicking ass, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
But I just could not get behind it.
I want to think that they filmed the entire rest of that movie just around whatever the fuck Bryan Cranston was doing else that day. Just like he's like, I'll be in it. You just have to work around my schedule on these 3 days, and I'll go ahead and make your movie. And they just made our.
He's at a laundromat. Like, yeah, he's just out running errands, saying his Argyle lines. Yeah, I agree 100%, AJ.
It's. But he's also having the most fun. Also, I have questions about Samuel L. Jackson's place in the Kingsman universe.
Yeah,
Right? That's fair.
Is he the Eddie Murphy of this universe? Does Samuel L. Jackson, the man, exist in the Kingsman universe? Are these do those characters know each other? Do people know both those people? Like, there's questions. There's all of them valid, and I need more Kingsman movies, and I need more Samuel L. Jackson in them.
Did Richmond Valentine have a twin?
Ooh.
I don't know how many more of these Kingsmen we're gonna get though. They kind of shit the bed with
Diminishing returns.
Argyle.
Yeah.
Big time.
Argyle. I mean, Argyle's another one. That's Apple TV, and then they did put it into theaters. Like that was intended for the whole thing. Apple did buy that to put on their service, but they did throw it into theaters for a little bit. So it's weird the way these studios are doing things these days.
I love the Kingsman, the first movie.
The first one's great.
I can defend the Golden Circle. There is a lot wrong with that movie, but there is a lot of fun still being had.
Right.
But then the King's Man.
I checked out watching that.
I loved the King's Man.
Halfway through the King's Man, my brain turned off.
Well, it was leading to this, like, okay, it's gonna get fun, like they're gonna start this Secret Service type thing, and then it just goes to like this World War I like horror, like tragedy movie. And then it finally gets to like the fun stuff. It's just it was so weird. Yeah, it was so weird. And then the post-credit scene where they're introducing like the world's worst people.
Hitler. Do Hitler in a post-credit. It's so great. And especially because I'm pretty sure that they did the 10 Cloverfield Lane thing with it, where we have most of this movie shot and we're going to make it a Cloverfield movie and just shoot a few extra scenes around it. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on it, I'm pretty sure that they did that with The King's Man, where they had a good portion of a movie, and then they're like, let's turn this into a Kingsman movie. They Frankensteined it, if I remember right.
Interesting. So the one thing I was going to bring up, because the news broke that, so my second most anticipated movie of the summer comes out this week, which is Furiosa. But my first most anticipated movie of the year. Let me rephrase that, because Furiosa is of the year too. But there's going to be another trailer for Beetlejuice going on Furiosa. And I'm just like, I don't know if I want to see more, because that trailer was the teaser was a perfect teaser.
It was great.
We don't know anything other than one little detail of somebody who's dead. And aside from that, we don't have any other context. And I kind of just want to see this movie knowing nothing else. But I'm going to see Furiosa, and I know I'm going to see the trailer on it. And I'm like, oh, please don't spoil too much else.
Well, thankfully, the person that they showed dead in the trailer was Jeffrey Jones.
Yes.
That guy's a fucking villain. He deserves to be on your guys' list. So, yeah, good. Great job, Tim Burton, killing that guy off in your preview.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. You already got my money because it's Beetlejuice.
Right.
And now I'm for sure going to go. Oh, I'm so excited for Beetlejuice. That's definitely probably my third, most anticipated. Deadpool's number one. I love anything and everything Deadpool. And the fact that we're getting Hugh Jackman reprising his tour de force as Wolverine, I just can't wait for this. But yeah, number two is Furiosa. Get to see that this week. And then Beetlejuice. Yeah, so good.
Beetlejuice is there is still a level of trepidation, because how often does a movie come out? Well, this is going to be 35 years after the original, 36 7 years. It was 87 was Beetlejuice. 37.
That's
Yeah, I think it was 87. It's 87 or 88 is because Beetlejuice is before Batman, which is 89. I think it's 87. And my big thing is, first off, is yes, a movie
88.
coming 88. Okay, it's 36 years later. Why the hell is this movie coming out the second weekend of September? Like, why was this not one of the big summer blockbusters? Or the second week of October to really capitalize on Halloween?
I think this movie. Did you guys watch the show Wednesday?
I did.
Yeah, good show. Felt like
Yeah.
old school Tim Burton. It kind of, Tim Burton went weird with Beetlejuice. He really did, and that was always what Tim Burton had, like his signature weird style. He did it with the Batmans, and then he kind of just started going like conformed movie after conformed movie, and it just didn't seem to work anymore for him. But like Wednesday kind of felt like a return to form for Tim Burton. So I am a little like, my thought is that movie I think is going to dominate September and October. I think you're going to get a lot of repeat viewing in October for that movie. What I hope is that movie does well enough to stay in theaters in October, because I'd like to go see it as like a Halloween movie.
Right. I
And
hope
not
it's on
stream
VOD.
3 weeks later.
That's
Yep.
my fear. They're going to put it on VOD like October 28th.
Like the Fall Guy that came out 4 weeks ago, and now it's on VOD.
It's Universal, right?
2 weeks ago. Exactly.
It's Warner Brothers. Beetlejuice.
Oh,
Warner Brothers.
okay. Never mind. Then
We'll go to Max.
I was gonna say they could do a simultaneous release like they did with Halloween Ends, but
Yeah.
day and date it.
But the thing with Beetlejuice that, like, obviously there's the just what name aside from Top Gun Maverick, name a movie that had its sequel come out, 30 years later that worked. Okay, Fury Road. That just came to my mind. But aside from those two, name a comedy sequel that worked 30 years later.
Dumb and Dumber? No.
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber
I love.
2.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
That movie
Dumb and
is-
Dumber 2, I don't particularly care for. Dumb and Dumber, that's a masterpiece.
The Hustler was
Get the
20
fuck
years,
out.
wasn't it? Yeah, I'm actually I'm
You're
with
talking
Mike
to
on
the
this.
two biggest Dumb and Dumber fans on the planet.
No.
They have
You guys-
3 great jokes in that movie. They have 3 great jokes. The rest of it, but yeah, those punchlines when they hit are amazing.
I love how much you guys love bad movies. I mean,
Okay.
you commit to Moonfall. Like, you guys are like, Moonfall's like,
Okay,
Moonfall's the
Masterpiece.
Ben-Hur of, our era.
but it kind of is.
It is. Right? Donald
Yeah,
Sutherland, like, role of a lifetime.
At the very least, Moonfall is the Ben-Hur of 2012s.
Buzz Aldrin. I'll never forget that.
Fuzz Aldrin.
Buzz Aldrin.
You were the only one who knew that. That was so amazing.
I cleared the table on Fuzz Aldrin on your guys' trivia match.
Oh, man. Fucking PLD. We can say that.
Ruining everything.
We can say fucking PLD all the time. So I can say I completely lost my train of thought of what I had a thought, and then it just went because I thought Fuzz Aldrin.
Yeah, you're talking about like movies that have had sequels like decades.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
just
yeah.
we're just thinking about Moonfall again collectively as a group.
I mean,
Just silence.
so this is what I was gonna say.
No, I just want Patrick Wilson to be so much better in things.
Moose, what do you think
So
would
much
have happened? The original What the Show was just AJ and I. It did not last very long as just AJ and I, but if we had never brought Juice and Bethany on as full-time members, how many episodes would we have lasted?
At least 4.
At least, I mean, you guys probably could have. You guys have love for at least 12 terrible movies, like god awful, like despise, like even the studios are like, no, we didn't put out that movie, and you guys have this like eternal love. So you would have at least gotten 12 episodes deep, I think.
Anytime we do one with just like an episode, there's been a handful that like Juice has gotten called into work or Bethany can't do it or something, and it's just been AJ and I were like, we're so sorry for what's about to happen.
I want to revisit something. I mentioned we talked about this on the Heroes when I was on the Heroes and Villains bracket with you guys. You guys choose like the worst Thursday night football game, and you do like a live stream of that.
Oh, let's pick that. That's a great. I mean, we probably should wait till the season to see if like there's a team with, injuries or something. But I'm going to pull up Thursday night's schedule right now. But go ahead, Moose.
I would very much like to volunteer to be, if you guys would allow me to be on. I would love to be on with you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
That sounds so much fun. I told you my like foray into broadcasting and how quickly that did not work. how terrible I was at a play-by-play. So
I have the schedule
Broncos
right
Saints.
Oh,
that's the first one jumping out at me. There's a few of them that look like they could be blowouts.
It's made
Broncos Saints is the one that is jumping out at me. That's week 7, October 17th. That one definitely looks like a leading candidate right now. If hypothetically looking at the schedule, the Commanders against the Eagles, Steelers against the Browns, the Raiders against the Chiefs,
Patriots and Jets.
Patriots and Jets is right away. That's too early in the season, I think.
Unless Aaron Rodgers' Achilles decides to do the funniest thing in the world, and then we're obviously streaming.
Here's the thing, though.
that
I don't think it's the disaster scenario last year because the Jets actually have a backup quarterback this year. So
Jordan Travis?
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, yeah. Tyrod Taylor. Who famously stays very healthy.
I thought the same thing.
I mean, early season prediction would be Broncos Saints would be the worst Thursday night.
The Broncos Saints sounds like the winner. So let's kind of pencil that in right now. Mark October 17th on the calendar for the What the Showcast of Thursday Night Football.
That sounds amazing.
Did you all see that now for the Manning cast for the first quarter of every game, Belichick is going to be on?
Yep. Is he really?
Yes.
Good for you, Bill.
He's like, being a lifelong Jets fan, that's like public enemy number one for me for the past 25 years. And the thing is now that he's not on the team and he's like, I've said for years, like somewhat sarcastically, but like somewhat believing it. I'm like, I bet you when the cameras turn off and he has trolled everybody, he goes back into his office and just starts cackling at what he just did. And I think that's 100% true. Having seen him on the McAfee show, having seen him on the drafts, and then having seen him on the Brady roast, like this guy had a poker face better than anybody maybe in history.
Could you imagine just saying, I would rather spend the first quarter of any football game and every Thursday night football game with the two guys that I hated the most while I was in the league as rivals than be game with
it's
Tom.
Going to be Belichick with Peyton and Eli, which were his two kryptonites.
And Tom not on there. Tom's going to be broadcasting games elsewhere. It's hilarious.
You know what? Like, I'll give Brady a shot. I'm not going to deny that. But Greg Olson was actually a very good guy for Fox, and he just got demoted because they hired Brady. Like, you have your best guy you've had in years, and he gets demoted. I'm like, I'd be pissed off if I was Greg Olson because he's actually a good announcer.
And I loved him in Dumb and Dumberer.
Nice. I gotta ask. I've never had this. What is the liquid death water? Like, what is significant about liquid death?
It's carbonated. It's kind of like a.
So they have some carbonated ones. I'm just drinking like an iced tea from them. But the whole thing is like it looks like a beer. So when you're in the bar with your friends and you're not drinking, you still kind of pass kind of thing. But where they got me, now this one's the Grim Leafer, which is just a regular iced tea. But they got me with their Arnold Palmer. They call it an armless Palmer, and they had a skeleton with no arms on it, right? And then the estate of Arnold Palmer threatened to sue them. They tried to do a cease and desist. So, in response, the good people of Liquid Death, changed the name of their Arnold Palmer to Dead Billionaire.
Oh wow.
Nice.
And after hearing that story, I was like, well, I have to try one. They're very good. And like they're sweetened, like say the sweet teas have like 30 calories worth of agave. There's hardly anything in there, and it still tastes like sweet and refreshing. So yeah, they got me.
I think the only time I've had a Liquid Death, I was at a music festival and they were selling them there, and it was like that. I got buy that for $6 or a Dasani for $5. So I got fucking
Would have spent 50 on the Liquid Death to avoid the Dasani.
Or you could get, a 6-pack of Smart Water for $90.
$90 when you're at EDC in Vegas. Jeez.
My favorite Arnold Palmer story has got to be he had played 9 holes, and in the 9 holes, he had 9 whiskey sours. And then on his 10th hole, he hit an eagle. And he turned to his caddy and he goes, "That's 10 whiskey sours, son." And then walks away. And then the caddy was like, "Oh my God." Drunk Arnold Palmer sings an eagle.
They don't make him like Arnold Palmer anymore. Arnold Palmer,
yeah.
Jack Nicklaus, they were the two of them. And now, of course, we have John Daly, who's them on steroids and, 50 hamburgers.
My favorite thing this past weekend with the golf tournament in Valhalla was after Rory McIlroy and the divorce papers and Sky Shuffler, getting arrested and all that. So somebody posted the meme, the Moneyball meme, where it was, you're trying to find the next Tiger Woods. Can't find that, boys, but we can recreate him in the aggregate. It's legendary.
Yeah, I just went to jail this morning and I got released and shot one of the best golf rounds of my life.
Right.
Oh my God.
It's pretty good.
You couldn't script that. When I woke up, first off, when I read that headline, I'm like, what? Am I reading this right? Seriously?
So, a serious question: does this guy make your heroes or villains bracket then?
That's a chaotic neutral if there ever was one.
Yeah, if he won the tournament, then I think it would be a hero.
It'd be a hero if he won the tournament, but right now that's chaotic neutral, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I just disobeyed the cops' orders and got arrested. Then I went and shot under par for the round.
Wasn't a DUI just complete police insubordination?
He wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it was. What did they charge him with? It was like public disorderly conduct, I think is what he got charged with. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great stuff.
I've never heard anything about him in any kind of negative light before, and then just bam.
So when it comes to assigning movies to your fantasy football players, is it completely random? Do you name out of hat kind of random?
Yep.
Dang.
Straight up. We used to have different methods. One time we did say marbles on Steam, but that doesn't really work
that was so bad. It was so bad because the stream, we couldn't even see the marbles. We didn't all of a sudden we just got the results at the end.
Yeah. And we should do the ducks again.
So one year we literally did a duck drawing where Bethany and I ordered a dozen rubber duckies, put them into the bathtub, filled the bathtub, and then we pulled them out and they each had a name on the bottom. So
nice.
Mm-hmm.
I host trivia on Tuesdays at a local winery here in Southern California, and my wife and I have a Jeep, big Wrangler Jeep, and if you like another Jeep, you put a duck on it. You get duck.
Yeah.
So somebody likes your Jeep, they put a duck on you. So we got a bunch of Jeeps on our bunch of ducks on our Jeeps. So what I do is I ask bonus questions now at the trivia night, and if you get the bonus question, I give you a duck.
Yeah, there you go. That's awesome. So it's funny. I'm in another league with Jacob London, who you all know. and he's completely stole the idea for the movie box office thing. But the way he did it was different, and he let us pick the movie. So he picked the order that we were in, and then it's like, okay, so you're number 1, you get to pick what movie you want. I was number 11, so I said fuck it, and I intentionally went for last place, and I picked Maxine in that league, so I know that I'm picking 12th.
I don't know. Maxine might do well though. Like,
Well,
I'm excited
So-
to see the movie.
We did the
So-
research though. The first 2 movies combined did not make 25 million.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Like-
I don't know. Sorry, go ahead, AJ.
I'm right with you where I love both of those movies. Like, I was astounded. It's like, okay, where Buck got it for our league, and I'm just like, well, I mean, these are probably not looking too bad. It's probably pretty low, but 14 million for Pearl.
Looked at
and
the
it
actual
outgro-
box office for X
it
and Pearl.
outgrossed
Not good.
X.
Yeah, but Mia Goth's coming along. Like, she's starting to become a bit of a star.
Infinity Pool's dope.
Hmm.
AJ with the Cronenberg plug. I mean, did you guys expect it?
Nice.
But the thing with the draft game that I love is that like it keeps everybody engaged, like in the off season of football and stuff like that, because we have something to root for, and like we're all paying attention to it, and it's like, okay, where am I? Like you right now, Moose, like every week your position could change. Like with what happens, all you need is one of these movies. Like I think right now, Fall Guy is going to probably realistically get you pick 10 or 11.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think I'm gonna have the last pick, but I'll get 10 or 11. It'll be low.
Realistically, unless something like there are 2 or 3 movies that could flop. It's a matter like I think A Quiet Place Day 1 is one of the ones that I don't know what to expect. It doesn't have the original cast, and
Yeah.
So it's sitting at 65 million right now.
opening weekend or overall.
Overall.
Overall, okay. So
for the Fall Guy. So
well, yeah, it's for Fall Guys. So yeah, does Quiet Place Day 1 hit that? I don't know.
I think this is a bad box office summer. I think that's
terrible.
I think you're getting 8. I think you're getting 8.
We might get maybe get 3 movies that hit 200 million. Maybe.
I think Furiosa will.
It's only tracking for 40 million over the 4-day weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it could go up, but because it is that it's Memorial Day weekend, it said it's tracking for like 40 to 45 over the 4-day. Which, if you look at Fury Road, though, Fury Road did roughly the same. So
this deadline has it at 80 to 85 million. Oh, worldwide.
Worldwide.
Yeah, I got you. You guys got
that's the
plans for
kicker.
the long weekend?
I run a retail store.
well, I have Jake Yakoveta visiting me, and then we're going to Monday Night Raw on Monday. That's
sounds
gonna
about
be-
right.
We are doing very different things.
Oh, yeah. The likelihood of Jake Yakoveta being Scotty Scheffler by the end of the weekend is very high.
Love that, Jake. He's a good cat.
What do you got going on, Moose?
Mine's a little more adventurous, I think, to what you guys have. My wife and I are flying down to Mexico late Friday night, so we're doing like an overnight flight. So for years, I have been wanting to swim with whale sharks. And anytime we're somewhere where they're potentially at, they're never around.
Right.
And so I don't know, it's been maybe like 4 or 5 years, and my wife and I've been in shark cages. A couple of weeks ago when we were in the Maldives, like we were swimming and there were sharks swimming with us. And so like the whale shark is kind of like the holy grail of sharks. So we're doing a specific, like, fly out Friday night, fly back like Monday morning,
Wow.
with Sunday as like the one day that we're going to try to like see them. And it's supposed to be the first day of the season. So hopefully we get ourselves some whale sharks this weekend.
Have you seen them in person before?
No.
So they had them at the Atlanta Aquarium. So like we did actually get to see them there, which was there's 2 of them there, if I'm not mistaken. We only saw 1, but I think they have 2. They're monstrous.
Yeah. Like they're so beautiful looking. Like, yeah, I have a weird obsession with sharks. Like sharks intrigue me, scare me, and like fascinate me. So yeah, if I can get in the water with some giant sharks, absolutely I will. You'll read one day that Moose Haas was killed by the Meg.
Or Mark
What's
Cuban.
gonna happen?
Oh,
Or Mark Cuban. Oh,
hey. We had a back in the, I guess this was probably the mid 90s. I don't know if either of you remember the Professional Roller Hockey Association. They showed on ESPN back then. We had the Long Island team was called the Jaws, JAWZ. You should look up their logo, Moose, because like that is like you would own that jersey in a heartbeat if you had actually been at one of their games back in the day, because it's actually like it's very somewhat comical. It's like not like the Sharks one, which is like kind of whatever it is. Like it has an actual like cartoon shark. If you can find it, I don't know if it's got to be on the internet. The Long Island Jaws.
Pull it up.
Yeah, with a Z.
Oh yeah, that is some Street Sharks ass shit.
Yes.
Let me see if I can blow this up. Yeah, I think I got a good image of this. Oh, dang.
Right?
That's my New Jersey right there.
Yeah.
So my father and I had season tickets to them because like it was dirt cheap. It was like for whatever they did, like it was probably like 10 or 12 home games. It was like $100 for the season for 2 tickets. So we went and got season tickets to it. They drew like maybe 1,000 people a game. It was at Nassau Coliseum when the Islanders played. There was nobody there. My father and I each from like pucks going into the crowd, not even ones that came to us, that came like within 5 rows of us, got like 3 of them during the season each because there was no one there.
That's awesome. I love it.
So there was the other team. There was, I don't remember how many teams there were, but there was the New Jersey team was called the Rock and Rollers, and their mascot was literally just like a 90s head. It was like Butthead, basically. It was their mascot. It was pretty awesome. I was going to ask though.
Also, in my defense, like Brian Gosling showed up to one of the Fall Guy premieres as Beavis. I was like, oh, this movie's like number 2 pick. Number 2 pick.
And seriously, when the Beavis and Butthead thing aired, this is really funny. Bethany's parents were in town, and she always was like, "Oh God, you're not watching Beavis and Butthead again, are you?" And then it shows up the first thing on YouTube. We open it up. It's like Ryan Gosling Beavis and Butthead skit, and we're like, she's like, "Oh God, no!" And then everybody lost their mind when they watched it, obviously, because if you watch that skit, it's one of the funniest things SNL has done in a long time. But when I saw that, I'm like, and then he does that with he does the premiere with them. I'm like, how high is this going to go? And then, yeah, 28 million.
Comparatively, though, I mean, I was with in my job, I work with a lot of different demographics, but the 22-year-old who goes to a theater regularly was going through showtimes and said, "What if?" Said that this past weekend.
Interesting.
Yep.
If was one of my biggest wild cards on like when we did our box office prediction show, and I was like, I don't know where to put If, because it really was an original property. How the hell do you predict this?
Original. Sorry.
Yeah, we all like Benny. It was unanimous between Benny, JTE, and I. We didn't really care to go see the movie. Like, I don't really like some of the marketing was fun when they like brought on like Randall Park and they were kind of like revisiting the like Asian Jim, like from the Office joke. But like, I also like sometimes don't think like outside of Deadpool that Reynolds is that huge of like a box office like draw. And Krasinski had like lightning in a bottle with The Quiet Place,
Right.
And The Quiet Place part two was quite good, which I agree with you. Like we're going away from that same family. It's not Krasinski's not in this at all. He's not a writer. He's not a director of a Quiet Place Day One. I'm still going to see it because that universe fascinates me. But this movie. I don't know if this was for kids. I don't know if this was for adults. And then all the reviews I read was like, we don't know if this is for kids. We don't know if this is for adults. Like, the movie just didn't seem like it knew what it wanted to be.
So I have this thing with John Krasinski where, say, I was in that camp of, well, A Quiet Place was the plot of The Silence. And then when this came out, I was like, this looks like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I went through the plot synopsis. It's 3 episodes of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends stitched together. The main imaginary friend has the same name as the main imaginary friend from Foster's.
Oh, does it really?
It does.
Yeah, they're both named Blue.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am so. Oh.
Again, this movie probably should have been released in like January, February when there's nothing else out there, and it could have probably done a lot better. I think they were banking on, okay, this is Ryan Reynolds' year. He's back as Deadpool. People are going to go see Ryan Reynolds again in theaters.
And the sad thing is, the movie that's going to cut its legs out is fucking Garfield.
Right. Yep. Could have demolished it. Another Chris Pratt voiced animated movie.
Well,
and actually, Moose, Fall Guy might still beat If.
I just need Fall Guy to get like another 30 million in theaters. I know that's a heavy wish, but if I can at least sit at like 90 million for Fall Guy, I can at least hope for like a 9, like maybe 7, 8, or 9 pick.
Well, this is a question like I have for both of you, like just piggybacking on this. How many people with the VOD thing, like, are jumping on the VOD thing, knowing that like Fall Guy was Universal? Fall Guy is going to be on Peacock if you wait another like month or so, probably.
Sure.
So $20 to watch it now, like. I know people do it, but like what percentage of the population really is jumping on that as opposed to just waiting the extra month for the streaming?
0.02. I mean, if anybody does it, they just do it for a bit.
I would venture to say that probably there's like 30% of America is probably jumping on that. It's the same reason why Uber Eats exists and Grubhub and all these other, home delivery services. Yeah. I mean, hey, why do you need to go anywhere when you could just simply get it at home? So yeah, I think it probably will, I think generate another, 10, 15 million off of the at-home rentals. But yeah, you're right. This is going to end up on a streaming service in a month for sure.
Yeah, it's Universal. It'll be on Peacock probably by the 4th of July.
Yep, I think so too. And
it's sad. Like, as somebody who was a big, I love the movie. I had so much fun with the Fall Guy. I know a lot of people nitpicked it and everything, and that was not like when I saw that movie, like what my thought was. I'm like, there's a lot of like really clever plot devices in here. Sure, some of them were predictable and some of them were contrived, but I'm just having fun watching several actors who are clearly having fun doing what they're doing. And it was just an enjoyable ride for me.
My takeaway from the Fall Guy is, one, obviously Gosling is incredibly dreamy. Yeah. We can all agree with that. And we need as much Gosling in everything we possibly can get.
Agreed.
2, Stephanie Hsu is a national treasure. She needs to get more roles. And 3, put Winston Duke in everything.
Everything, yes.
I saw him in I saw the clip of him yelling actors' names as he was fighting people, and oh my god.
Dude, he's
You want
having a
fun?
blast in this movie.
Somebody having fun in that movie. Winston Duke was having fun
Yeah,
in that.
he's having fun in this movie. Just give Winston Duke all the roles. Every of the
I
roles.
want
I love yeah, he's great. I love Winston Duke.
I want to go watch this movie now, and like, but I don't want to end the stream. If only we had some sort of fall guy.
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
It's 2 minutes for roping. I like that. You're a jabroni.